Welcome back to Canada's Blonde Moment.
This is John. What's the address emergency?
Hi, there is an emergency. I found something in my son's closet wrapped in a plastic bag.
Okay, what was it?
I think it's a human head.
It's a what?
I think it's a human head.
Why do you think it's that?
Because it looks like it's all an ear.
Is it bloody or does it like anything like that?
I just need to come. That's why I had to take a picture and send it to you.
What's the address?
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Canada's Blonde Moment. I'm your host, TJ. Now, if you're listening here, you might want to pause this for a minute, go get yourself a drink, and settle back in. Because, you guys, today we have a very seriously dark and chilling topic. And it's probably one of the most disturbing cases you've ever heard and that we've ever covered on the show. Like, I don't know, Chrissy, are you ready for this? Because I don't know that I am.
Oh, girl, I don't think anyone can be fully ready for what we're about to dive into today. We're talking about the case of Brian Cohee, the man who brutally murdered Warren Barnes. And let me just say, it's a true horror show. Buckle up because this is a wild, disturbing ride.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. You guys, we're going to take you through everything. Okay. Brian's bizarre behavior, how his parents were the ones to uncover the murder, and how he even crashed his car into a river. Like, there is so much to unpack here.
Yeah, I think what really gets me about this case is how it all started. Like, can you even imagine being his parent and finding what they found?
No.
They thought they were calling the police to help him to help get his car out of the river. And then days later, they're discovering a human head in his room.
Yeah.
And not only the
Uh,
head, there was his hands in the bag as well.
yeah. Like, here, guys, take a quick look at this clip. This is where he crashes his car and the police come on the scene.
This your son right here? Yep. Yeah. Hey, partner, you want to come out and talk to me real quick?
Sure.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm really cold. Is it okay if it's in here? Because
That's fine. Okay. That's fine. I did not know that. No, please stay in the car.
Yeah.
All right. Nobody else in the car?
nope.
No, okay.
Just us. I'm the father. That's the mother. And this is our son. He just called us
Sounds
20
good.
minutes ago and said, "Dad, I parked at the boat ramp and I messed up. I tried to get out of the car and it slid down."
Well, you're not hurt, right? You're okay?
No, just a little
Okay.
cold is all.
Beside your pride a little bit.
And probably $7,000.
Okay. All right, man. Do you have your ID with you, driver's license, by any chance?
I do. Thankfully.
What were you doing down here, bud?
Well, I felt like I needed to get out, and I figured, why not park here and just
relax a little bit?
Relax and think.
Okay.
And I parked on the boat ramp,
Okay.
and I thought it would be easy to get out.
Uh-huh.
But when I tried to,
Where did you park exactly? Were you down the hill a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
And then
When he got back in, go ahead.
when I got back in, I tried to put it in drive, and it didn't go up. So then I tried putting it in low gear, shimmying it a bit. That didn't work.
Were you facing down?
No, I
at
was
this point, or were
facing.
you
I was facing
this way?
up.
Okay.
You back down?
Yeah,
That's a really good
because
idea.
that seemed like the easiest one.
It was very
Because of the propulsion of the rear tires, I figured they would be able to push.
Okay.
But yeah, then then it slid into the river. I was able to get out.
Because I was like, it's not a crash. He just
Dude, it's like
parked
8 feet
it
out in the water.
He parked it and basically couldn't get it up. It just lost traction, looks like, and then he actually went in it down in the water. He's not hurt at all, so I'm like, how are you going to get this car out if possible?
Does he need to stay here? Or
I'm sorry?
is he free to go? I'm sure he'd like to go home and get warm.
I'm sure he'd like to get some pants on.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's not a crash. It's
okay.
a simple
It's
mistake.
just a stupid action.
So,
Okay, now before we get into the rest of that horror show, you guys, let's start with some background, okay? Who is Brian Cohee? Because this guy wasn't some well known criminal mastermind. He was literally a 19-year-old living at home with his parents in Renton, Washington. Like his whole life was off everyone's radar until it wasn't.
Yeah, Brian was a seemingly normal guy on the surface. He grew up with pretty regular parents who didn't have any big red flags. His mom, dad, just your average suburban family. They definitely weren't prepared for the nightmare that they were about to step into.
No. And Chrissy, it's crazy to think about, right? Like, from what we know, Brian was described as quiet, not the type of guy you'd suspect of anything like this, but obviously something was brewing underneath the surface.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know where it all went wrong for him. Now, let's just talk about what he did
Yeah.
because this is where it gets really intense. He killed Warren Barnes. And what's even creepier is the fact that Barnes, his body, or more specifically, parts of his body, were in Brian's room for several days after the murder.
Believe it. Oh my god. It's kind of a time to not really know what to do, so.
I don't know what happened. At random too. Why? I don't get it.
Don't have any answer. How old is Brian?
He's 19.
He's 19.
What's going on, man?
How much? Cooperate. I am going to cooperate.
Okay, so parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hands.
Like, for real human head and hands?
Yes.
From?
That fellow who went missing recently.
Which fellow was that?
Warren Brown.
Warren Brown? When did he go missing?
The night of the 27th.
The night of the 27th? Okay,
Yes.
and how did you end up with him?
I murdered him.
With what?
A knife.
Why would you have done that?
I've always wondered what murder felt like.
Like, let that sink in, listeners. The body was in his room while his parents were just living their lives completely unaware.
You've got to think, like, there's no smell or anything.
Yeah, it was
Like,
double bagged.
how do you not know your kid is hiding a body in the house? I mean,
Eh,
maybe I'm paranoid, but I feel like I noticed something was off, right? Like, I don't know. How about you guys listening? Would you notice if something in your house smelt weird? Like, let us know because I can't imagine missing something that flippin' huge. Like,
yeah, yeah. That's, I don't know. Maybe they thought smelly sock. Maybe it didn't stink. I don't know. Maybe his behavior was totally normal because he seemed normal around the cops and stuff. It's crazy. Okay. Now, and when you think about it,
yeah.
the only reason his parents found out is because he crashed his car into the river. They were worried, called the police to get it out, and once everything started unraveling, they found a head in his room, and not just any head, Warren Barnes' head.
Okay, like
Like,
we had to pause here for a second, okay? Think about this, okay? You come home worried about your son crashing into his car into a river, right? The police have found what they think is blood on the back bumper, right? You call your son, "Oh my gosh, like, are you hurt? There's blood." And he's like, "No, I don't know how the blood got there." Like, his demeanor, "No,
yeah, I'm
I'm
totally
completely
fine.
fine.
No.
No, I'm
Hmm.
good. I don't know. I don't know how blood would have gotten there." And suddenly you're discovering then a decapitated head in his room. Like, seriously, that's next level trauma. Like, where do you even go with that? What do you do with that?
Yeah, seriously. And then there's the question, what was Brian even thinking? What led him to murder Warren in the first place? There were no obvious motives at first glance, and police have said they were completely blindsided by how bizarre and brutal the crime was.
Yeah, like, Brian wasn't some hardened criminal. He wasn't even on anyone's radar. Like, this is so out of the blue. And when they questioned him, the details he gave were flippin' chilling, guys. Like,
Yeah.
he was completely emotionless. It's almost like he was disconnected from the whole thing. Take a listen.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you? You said your name's Brian?
Yeah. I'm not feeling too well.
You're not feeling too well? All right.
No, these past few days I've been very, very anxious.
That's understandable. So what we're gonna have you do here is I'm just gonna have you sit in the back here, okay? I'm gonna turn on the air for you in a second. That way you're not too hot. Are you a hot-blooded or cold-blooded kind of guy?
I am very cold-blooded. I prefer cold. Well, no, actually, sorry, hot-blooded.
Hot-blooded. So you prefer the cold? Okay, fantastic. All right. So hop in here. I know you're tall, so it's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but like I said, I'll get that air on for you.
Sorry about that.
I murdered someone.
Okay. But how did you get to my office?
Well, the police drove me here from my mom's house.
Okay. You said you murdered someone.
I did.
Did you know the person?
No.
No?
No. I was driving one night. I was in a, shall we say, bad state of mind.
Okay.
I saw a strange shape by the railway tracks, so I investigated, and it revealed to be a homeless person sleeping. Well, I presumed homeless, because he was there.
Okay.
So, I stabbed him to death.
Okay.
Then decapitated his head and hands and arms.
Okay.
I then took the head and put it in my car trunk along with the hands in bags, plastic Ziploc bags. I took it back to my house, cleaned off the knife, tried to hide the head and hands, removed the trash in my car that was stained in blood. And then I tried sleeping. However, I was quite stupid, shall we say, because I decided that's too much evidence. The body needs to be dumped in the river. So I took the body in the trunk, drove it to the Blue Heron drop-off point, and unsuccessfully dumped the body as I parked too low down the ramp. The ramp is undirt, so unless you have four-wheel drive, you're not getting out. And I was unable to get out, and my car flooded. Let's see, I killed him just after 11, February 27th, 2021. And then I dumped the body. I tried to dump the body. I'm trying to remember the time exactly. It was 1 a.m.
Okay.
And yeah.
So that sounds fascinating.
What do you want to know?
Let's start back at the beginning and go slow and tell me as many details as you can remember.
So, because Murray going to jail for this 15 years probably.
I have no idea.
Because
we're at the beginning.
It's murder. I'm going to jail for 20 probably. But so I figured, why fight it?
Okay. So what's important to me is to learn as much about you and what you did as I can. Well, as many details as you can give me, the better.
I drive a 2007 Ford 500.
Okay.
And I keep a small 18-inch bat in there for self-defense.
Okay.
And a large kitchen knife in.
Yeah. And when the people started questioning him, the stuff he admitted was just wild. He told them that he killed Warren Barnes in his car. He just up and admitted it. Like it was no big deal. Yeah, I killed him. He strangled him and then mutilated his body. Like it was a normal thing.
I just wanted to see what murder felt like.
Right.
I've always
Yeah, just
wondered what it would feel
I've
like to
always
murder somebody.
right.
So yeah, like the cop's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So I'm gonna need you to turn around and put your arms behind your back.
Right. Let me turn
Like
on the AC for you so you don't get hot. And
this whole thing, tells me, he's not right upstairs. And like he kept the head, Chrissy, in his room for days. Like the rest of the remains scattered. He got rid of them, dumping parts in various locations. Some were found in a wooded area nearby, others in places that police are still piecing together. Like this guy clearly had a plan, if you can even call it that, right? But it was messy. It was
yeah,
definitely messy.
messy is an understatement. And his parents, who'd been living with him during all of this, were completely in the dark. How does something like that even happen? How long could someone realistically live in a house with their parents and keep a crime like that hidden?
Well,
So,
clearly
like,
days.
yeah. Yeah.
right?
No, what do you guys think? Could someone pull that off for long, or would they slip up?
Well,
Like, you would have to slip up.
I know, but I mean, eventually, okay, eventually he did slip up when he crashed his car, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
kind of like that's what led everything to falling apart. But until then, you guys, he was just going about his life like nothing happened. And that is terrifying.
For sure. Super terrifying. And speaking of the crash, let's talk about that for a minute. He drove his car into the river, right?
Yeah.
Which immediately raises red flags for me. Was he trying to get rid of evidence? Trying to destroy something? Or was he just panicking?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it seems like a panic move, right? Like, he crashes his car, and then his parents, they come rushing. Okay. So it shows that the parents, like, this guy knew, like, hey, I had a problem. Like, these are good parents. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then, they get there, they call the police to get the car out of the river. But little did they know that this crash would lead to like the darkest discoveries of their lives. And he said he was out there, just to think. And he thought he'd be able to get off of the boat ramp or boat dock, and he went in. But
Yeah, he
my,
went in too far.
yeah,
Yeah, crazy. So the police get involved to retrieve the car. They tow it out, but the real nightmare starts when they head back to Brian's house. Now, at this point, his parents are already worried about him, and then, boom, they find the head in his room. You just can't make this stuff up.
no,
And remember, when they were getting the car out, they actually found the blood on the back, right?
yeah. And they're
And
they're worried that he's hurt and he's just not seeing where he's bleeding.
yes,
And then the police, like, he locked his trunk. So when the police did have the vehicle overnight, they weren't able to get into it, and they released the car then back to the parents, right?
yeah, thinking nothing.
Yeah. And then the parents find this head in his room, and that's when everything went from 0 to 100. I mean,
Yeah,
the police immediately arrest Brian. And of course, they start interrogating him. But get this, you guys, he didn't even try to deny anything. He was open about what he did, but like completely detached. Like, zero remorse, he had no emotion. He was just saying it like, you know, "Oh, well, I just walked home from school. I did my homework. I then had a snack. I watched some TV for a bit. I took a shower, and then I went to bed." Like, this is this guy. This is Brian.
yeah,
Mm,
which is just eerie.
mhm.
And during the interrogation, he even told them how he killed Warren Barnes. He didn't hold back on the details either. He
Well,
said that he'd strangled him, mutilated the body, and then kept the head. I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
right?
It's
He just, you know what?
crazy.
I wanted to keep the head, right?
You
And
know,
then,
a souvenir.
yeah,
That's like,
I'm just gonna keep the head in my closet. I just feel like, and the
what
hands.
would
And the
possess,
hands.
yeah, what would possess him? Like, he got rid of all the parts. What would possess him to keep the head and the hands?
Well, I mean, maybe not thinking that, forensics actually could figure out who it was. Again,
Without it,
yeah, he's 19, you know what I mean? Forensics could, so maybe he thought that without a head or fingerprints,
fingerprints, yeah,
right? That's what's going through my head,
true.
because why else are you keeping those things? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, I if we ask her questions, Jeffrey Dahmer, like, why did Jeffrey you know what I'm saying? But I mean, he was eating them. Um, I don't know.
Ugh.
But and then, Chrissy, let's not forget the aftermath here. I mean, Brian was arrested and charged, obviously, but the court proceedings were just as disturbing. There were actually psychologists that brought in to try and figure out what was going on in his head. Like, was he mentally unfit? Was he a cold-blooded killer? Like, it was all up in the air. No one knew. How do you take this
Yeah.
kid? you know?
Yeah. And to think the court proceedings are super important to touch on. The big question in cases like this is always why? What drives someone to commit such a brutal act? Now, the court tried to figure that out, but I think we're all still left with more questions than answers.
Well, yeah. I mean, you still can't like this man, he wasn't homeless, okay? He had a place that he paid rent for. He had a job. He was known all around town, you know. It was, I guess, to me, it kind of sounded like, Warren lived in a halfway house or something where he just kind of rented a
Yeah,
room.
he rented a room and then every day he went and read his book behind the bridal shop.
Yeah, and he had kids that we know of, but ones that, like, he would talk to once every 3 or 4 years. So,
Yeah, I think it was said they that it, the lady said that she thinks he had only one kid. Like
okay.
she didn't know how to get a hold of that child. There could be more, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but poor Warren, I mean, he was well known all throughout the town. What was he, 60 or do you remember how old he was?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think he was in his 60s anyway, I'm pretty sure. But you guys, you know, it's just it's so disturbing. I wanna play another clip for you. Listen into this.
So I'm like, okay, I hope I can get this car started for Brian. He's gotta work, he's gotta work. So right away, I popped the hood, unhooked the battery, because it was dead, tried to charge the battery. I started going through the car, vacuuming out all the water. Did as much as I could Saturday. Went back out there this morning, just to continue. And I opened the glove box, and there was a knife in the glove box, underwater. Okay. The glove box is full of water. Very large knife. Okay. And then, as I go around the passenger door, I open the passenger door, and there's a wallet in between this door and the gun or whatever. Okay. And I open up, that's not Brian's wallet. It's frozen solid. Like, oh my God. That's not Brian's wallet.
Between the blood on the bumper, the knife, and the stranger's wallet, Brian Sr. had some questions for his son.
Okay.
But first, he makes a phone call to a company whose business card was found in the wallet.
That's not Brian's wallet. So I take him aside and I ended up getting one of the wads of cards out. There's a labor ready. I read that. So I called labor ready. And then another one, there was a social security card. Okay. I was like, hey, this is a weird call, but I've got a wallet here with so-and-so's name, and I'm hoping he works for you all, or you subbed him out or whatever. Oh, yeah, my one, we've been missing him. Yes, he didn't show up today. I'm like, oh, my God, now we've got a missing person. Okay, well, I found his wallet at Blue Pen Program. So here's my name. Here's all my information. If you get a hold of him, tell him I've got his wallet here at my house. Okay, so I left that like that.
Brian Sr.'s next phone call is to Brian Jr.
Call Brian. Brian, what's going on? Why is there a wallet in the car? Oh, I found it down in the book when I was down there walking around. Okay. And he was so sincere. I took it all. I want to believe him. He's my son.
69.
69, right? So, and well known all around town. Like, this is really a heartbreaking, I mean, the parents, I don't know how I would handle this. I mean, we always like to think that we're gonna stand behind our kids, right? There's no way with this. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know. And the thing is psychologists still haven't figured it out. You know, the courts still can't give an answer. This boy just wanted to see what it felt like to murder someone.
Crazy. And I have to say, his parents, they acted the way they should have.
Oh, bang on. I mean,
Yeah.
as a parent, I don't know how I would react in that time. And they definitely did the right thing. And, I'd probably, if I found that in my child's room and the way he was so nonchalant, I don't think
Yeah.
I'd ever want him coming in to live in my home again.
No, I would feel unsafe for sure.
Yeah. Like they weren't, I don't even know. I don't know, you guys. Tell us what you think. Like, this is crazy. Why do people like Brian just did he snap? I mean, we can't even say he snapped. It seems like it was just something he wanted to do. But why? What makes people do these horrific things? Is it something in their upbringing? Was he having a mental break? Is it just how one's brain clicks different than others? Right?
Yeah.
They always say, that serial killers and that, I mean, thank gosh, who knows if he didn't get caught, how many more he would have killed. But they always say they're geniuses,
Yeah.
right?
But he didn't seem too smart.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel
Um,
like he just carried on, like, he wasn't glitchy, he wasn't nervous, like, he
he
didn't take a breath when talking to the police, like, he literally it's like,
he's a psychopath.
well, we don't know that.
We do. Just the whole, like, that literally, like, just you saying that and me picturing it all, that's the first word that comes to mind. How can someone do that and be so calm?
Right, but that's where I'm saying, like, how do you how do you label him anything other than, "Please keep him locked up for life," right? That's what
Please.
I'm labeling him as, "Please keep him locked up for life."
Absolutely.
I wouldn't even let him out in the general public.
Absolutely not.
Like, I'd be fearing the other inmates' safety.
For sure.
This guy's just so calm, like, everyone would think, "No, Brian, he's a good guy, he did one thing, and then all of a sudden, he's not he's just talking nicely as he's stabbing you." Y a
Yeah, I just wanted
little
to see how it felt to kill an inmate.
yeah,
My
with a
my
shank.
my
I just wanted to
right
shank him. I just wanted to see what shanking somebody would feel like.
right in the eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, just no big deal, right? It
Yeah, that's
it's
the
all
part
good.
that boggles my mind is how he just brushes it off, like he just did the dishes.
That's what I'm saying, like, I maybe wasn't a fan of doing the dishes, but I wanted to see what scrubbing pots kind of felt like. So now that I've scrubbed them, I mean, it's actually not so bad, right? I might scrub another pot. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
dude,
It's
dude, like,
but now he got caught, so hopefully he'll never get to scrub another pot again.
well, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be following this. I want honestly, I wanna see a Netflix documentary on this guy. The
Absolutely.
afterwards. I need
Yes.
to see him. I mean, the video there alone, I mean, this guy, I don't even know, like, I'm trying to picture who'd be the best one to play him. Probably the guy that did Jeffrey Dahmer because he was bang on, you
He
know?
was.
I
He
think I don't
was.
know his name, but that guy that
Mm.
did Jeffrey Dahmer,
It's I don't know his name either, but it's almost like you he has no soul.
none,
He's
none.
just empty,
Just
empty.
no emotion, no nothing. And I mean, that guy, I couldn't picture any other actor that I know of playing that part better than him. And this here, I mean, we'd all be picturing that, he's already played the Jeffrey Dahmer, so we'd all be like, "Oh, he's gonna eat him," and then be disappointed when he doesn't. But,
Right.
um, you know,
They'll find somebody if they ever do it.
I really think that they I mean, but then at the same time, I mean, watching those, I mean, it gives people ideas, right? No,
It really does.
there's so many copycats,
Yeah.
right? The copycats that are out there. But yeah, guys, we're gonna, tell us what you think, and yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye. That was Canada's Blonde Moment, and I am out.